Welcome FS2 parents. In this short video, we will talk about ways you can help your child at home to achieve the early learning goals by the end of the year.
In EYFS, there are 7 areas of learning. 3 prime areas: personal, social and emotional development, physical development, communication and language. And there are 4 specific areas: literacy, maths, understanding the world and expressive art and design. We will talk you through each of these areas.
The first area of development we are going to look at is personal, social and emotional development, also known as PSD. If you'd like to read the early learning goals for this area, please pause the video now. I'm now going to share some ways that you can support your child in this area. PSD is all about supporting your child in being as happy as they can be, encouraging them to socialise, be independent, confident, and to manage their feelings and make the right choices. Teach your child that sharing is caring, as we do in school, and encourage them to play fairly with their friends. Encourage them to do things by themselves, like opening and closing their bags, dressing and undressing, opening and closing water bottles and containers, going to the toilet and looking after themselves. Don't do everything for them. Encourage them to have a try and ask for help when needed. Encourage your child to be confident, take risks and try new and different things. If your child has a tantrum or sulks, snatches or uses violence when they do not get their own way, they should have a consequence, as this is not the right behaviour. You could have a behaviour chart at home, or use a thinking chair or time out, or they could lose time playing with something they enjoy. Your boundaries must be consistent so that your child understands when they have done wrong and can learn from this. You can model what was the right way to handle the conflict and praise your child when they make the right choices.
Here are the early learning goals for communication and language: listening and attention, understanding and speaking. Please pause the video and read through these at your own pace. To help support your child with this area, you should read to them as much as possible. Reading improves your child's listening skills, vocabulary and comprehension. While reading, talk about the pictures in the book and ask your child how and why questions. The books you read may often contain words you might not use in everyday communication. Explain the meaning of these new words to your child as you read. Talk more with your child, using descriptive words to build their vocabulary. Talk to your child about their interests and narrate your child's day to help them understand what is happening. Encourage your child to take turns when you are talking together. This develops good conversation and listening skills. Plan activities in which your child must learn to follow several ideas or instructions. Cooking together is very good for this. Or give your child instructions involving a 2-part sequence, such as tidy up your toys, wash your hands, and then you can have a treat. Provide your child with opportunities to participate in music activities. Music will not only improve your child's listening and memory skills, but it will also help them learn the sounds and meaning of words.
Here are the early learning goals for physical development, which include moving and handling and health and self-care. Please feel free to pause the video to read these in detail. Here are some ways you can support your child at home. Go to parks and playgrounds and encourage climbing, jumping and running to develop gross motor skills. Use Play-Doh and other malleable materials to develop fine motor skills, which help with pencil control and writing. Encourage your child to sit correctly at a table and hold a pencil when writing. Use scissors and other tools for cutting activities. Using pegs will help strengthen muscles in your child's hand and improve pencil grip and control. play ball games including rolling, kicking and catching. You can do throwing activities to improve aim and coordination. Here are the early learning goals for literacy. This includes reading and writing. Please feel free to pause the video to read these in detail. Here are some ways you can support your child at home. Set up a reading corner, make this really cosy and appealing, and have a selection of books that you can provide and change regularly to keep your child interested. Add letters and sounds to toys of interest such as a train track or blocks to help with sound recognition. Use blocks and toys to spell CVC words. Practice letter formation using the tracing sheets we provide for home learning. Use the sound mat to practice recognising and saying each sound. This also has the handwriting phrases to help with letter formation. Use the green words on Padlet to practice blending sounds. You can do this in lots of fun ways around the house, such as on the staircase or hiding them around a room or in the garden. The Oxford Owl website has lots of free phonics ebooks that you can read at home. Use a variety of media such as paint, chalk, water, felt tip pens and crayons to practice writing. Get your child their own special notebook. They can write about their day or any trips that you go on, such as to the beach or park. Here are some examples of writing we would expect. As you can see, the spelling of words is not always correct. However, we would expect that children are using the sounds they know to spell words and also their Reggie Red words.
Here are the early learning goals for maths, where the children learn about number and shape, space and measure. Please pause the video if you would like to read the early learning goals now. I'll now share some ideas for things that you can do to support your child with maths. Numbers are everywhere, in lifts, on buses, on phones, iPads, buildings, so please encourage your child to spot the numbers and talk about the number with them. Children can form letters and numbers in many different and fun ways. It doesn't have to be on paper. They could practice writing their numbers when at the beach. They could use a paintbrush and water and paint numbers outside, or even practice writing numbers in Dad's shaving foam. There are many practical ways to practice adding and subtracting, and here is one example, just using a hanger and pegs. However, children can add and subtract with anything, so encourage them to add and take away by asking simple questions such as, how many blue toy cars do you have now? How many red toy cars do you have? How many do you have altogether? Can you write this number sentence? Using a mirror is a great and easy way to explore doubling. Cooking is a wonderful way to explore the language of capacity, quantity, weight and time. Shape and patterns are everywhere. Encourage your child to recognise and talk about them and make them with toys at home. Find real-life shapes at home or recognise them everywhere you go and discuss the shape's properties. Have a simple role play to encourage counting, ordering, number recognition, addition, subtraction, shape and problem solving in a real-life setting. Let your child use balancing scales to explore weight with their toys or natural objects.
Here are the early learning goals for understanding the world, people and communities, the world and technology. Please pause the video and read through these at your own pace. To help support your child with this area at home, you could make a garden. Help your child to plant a variety of seeds, such as flowers and vegetables, in either your garden, hanging baskets or pots. Your child will be able to observe each stage of a seed's life cycle, discover how to care for plants, and finally enjoy something that they have grown themselves. Go on day trips to places such as the aquarium, zoo or beach. Your child will discover how a variety of things live and behave. Look at photographs of family and friends. Encourage your child to talk about the people in the photos or the events they have attended. Discuss similarities and differences between them and other family members or friends. Listen carefully to what your child has to say when they discover something of interest. Try challenging them to explain their ideas to you. Ask them how and why questions, as this will help them to develop their thinking skills. And for technology, encourage your child to use a camera to take photos or make their own movies. Also, when choosing presents for your child, think about things which will develop their science skills. Choose toys and games which show mechanisms and how things work.
Here are the early learning goals for expressive art and design. This includes exploring and using media and materials and being imaginative. Please feel free to pause the video to read this in detail. Here are some ways you can support your child at home. Use recyclable materials at home and allow your child to explore and be creative making models. Role play at home. For example, use kitchen utensils and pretend to cook or set up a shop. Dress up in costumes or real items of clothing to encourage your child to take on the role of another character. Painting, drawing, colouring and using materials in arts and craft activities. Sing songs and nursery rhymes. You can find lots of these on YouTube. Use small world characters and toys to build imagination through storytelling and roleplay.
Thank you for listening and thank you for your continued support. Goodbye.